Hey guys, this is Jackson of 6'4 Records. Figured I'd start making some YouTube videos other than just me uploading some of the music in my collection to YouTube. I thought it'd be fun to start sharing some of the stuff I've found, personal stories, things like that. So I figured why not start off with some of the best music I found while out thrifting. I'm out at Goodwill's quite a bit, and eventually as you go to these stores often enough, you'll eventually find some things. So I've got a handful of some records, some CDs, some cassettes, just some good music that I've found over the years while out shopping at Goodwill. All right, first up we've got Weep No More. I'll take this out of the sleeve. Weep No More by Kathy Bojanowski. I believe I'm saying that correctly. This is a private press record on Sun Touch Records, which is out of Delavan, Wisconsin. I am in the Milwaukee area, so you'll notice a lot of the records I share are from Wisconsin, so just something to note. But I don't know what it was about this that caught my eye. I found this at the Goodwill in New Berlin, Wisconsin, and I'm a sucker for these like stock photo covers because a lot of times they're crap, but sometimes you can get really, really lucky with these records, and that's how it went this time. So it is pretty unassuming, but this was released in 1982, I believe, and it's really a hidden gem in the Christian psych folk genre. It's a pretty solid record all around, but side two, the first two tracks, I Can Fly and Weep No More, are incredible songs, very haunting and eerie sort of downer Christian psych folk, I guess you could call it. I highly recommend listening to this or getting a copy if you can. I did upload this whole record to my YouTube channel, so if you are interested in listening to the full album, I'll put that in the description. Highly recommend checking that out. I do believe there's a copy available on Discogs right now for pretty cheap, so if you are interested, I would definitely pick this up. Definitely a hidden gem record, and this is one that's on my turntable all the time, so can't recommend this enough. Weep No More by Kathy Bojanowski. Sticking with the theme of Christian-centric records, I'm a sucker for a really good gospel album. And I mean, I saw this at a Goodwill, and how could I say no? Look at this guy's glasses. And look how he's dressed. Just look at this cover and tell me you would not immediately pick this up if you found this at a Goodwill. This was sealed when I bought it, so I opened this. I was the first one to listen to it. I believe this also came out in 1982. I can't find a date. Or 1983, excuse me. But this is Michael Trammell and Blessed, with a T, Living for the Love of God. And this is just an absolute bop of a record. Super funky and groovy. This is also available on YouTube. Someone had uploaded this before I got it. Yeah, highly recommend listening to this. Not only is it a super groovy record, the vocals are fantastic, the instrumentation's fantastic, it just sounds good for being essentially a privately released gospel record. It's on the Murata label, which they've had quite a few records if you check their Discogs page, but yeah, highly recommend this one. And this one isn't super expensive either. You can get it for, I want to say, probably under $40. So it's not a crazy, probably even less than that, honestly. But highly recommend checking this out. Great record if you want to dance, if you want something funky. So yeah, check this out. Get a copy if you can. Now, this record is up there with my best deals I've ever gotten finding a record in the wild. This is Would You Believe by the Tempests. This is still in the shrink. That's just an old sticker. It's not really on there, but in the shrink, I found this at Goodwill for $2. This goes for quite a bit more than that. This is from the late 60s. I want to say 1968. Really tough to find sort of R&B horn band soul record. This is an original first US press with the misspelling on the side one label. Just says, I don't know if you can see that, it just says The Tempest rather than The Tempests. But this is super clean, especially because when I found it, it did not have an inner sleeve of any sort. So took a chance on it. I mean, I kind of had to for the price, and honestly plays great. It's in really great shape. yeah, I was just shocked to find such a tough to find record at a Goodwill. I mean, I've gone and I've found, little gems like the previous albums I've shown, but no heavy hitters like something like this. I was shocked to find this. I found this at the Goodwill in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. They've had a pretty good track record, in my experience, of having a pretty solid record collection to dig through. So yeah, if you can find a copy of this, definitely recommend listening to it. You can find this on streaming, on Apple Music at least. I'm not sure about Spotify. But yeah, definitely worth a listen. It's a great record, and I don't believe they put out much more outside of this one record. So if you find this in the wild, definitely pick it up. Now, this is a record I actually just found at a Goodwill this weekend. And I was familiar with this thanks to our good friend Dylan at Noble Records. I believe he had posted a video about this, so I was familiar with it. But this is Pop Rock Parachute. And this may not look very enticing. It's a kid's record, obviously. It says on the cover, it's for different parachute games, educational activities, things like that. But the big thing about this is side A has narration along with music, but the side everybody's looking for is the side B with the instrumental onlys. This is a super funky record. It's got really great beats. I highly recommend checking this out, especially if you're a DJ. There's some really great breaks on this record, so recommend checking this out. And these sort of activity educational records are all over Goodwills all over the country, so this is one that it's very easy to stumble across. The whole section I was in had tons and tons of these sort of educational activity records, so I picked up a handful. But yeah, this one's super clean, especially for being in a Goodwill. It had an inner sleeve, which was nice, but not a whole lot of damage to it. I'm not sure if there's an upload of this floating around YouTube anywhere, but if there isn't, I'll definitely get around to uploading this because the instrumental side on this record is fantastic, so highly recommend checking this one out. Getting back into some sort of Christian psych folk records, this is the Soul Singers Sing About Life. This is out of Appleton, Wisconsin. I don't believe there's a date anywhere on this, but kind of based on the picture here, I'd probably say late 60s to early mid 70s, just kind of based on how it looks. This is a really interesting one. It's very acoustic and folky, but it has a whole chorus of singers from this church. I'm not sure it says actually what church they're from, unless I just haven't noticed it. But this is out of Appleton, Wisconsin, kind of up north by Green Bay on the Golden Echo label. Yeah, this one kind of stood out. I saw the cover. I wasn't familiar with this when I found it, but I saw the cover and kind of that cool sort of Summer of Love looking guitar artwork, and I knew this was one I had to have. So this is also uploaded on my YouTube channel. If you want to give it a listen, I'll make sure to put that in the description. But yeah, very folky, very uplifting. There's a few covers on here. Get Together is one of those. It seems like all of these types of Christian folk records always have a cover of Get Together on them for some reason. Must have just been an easy song to play, and the message was good. But yeah, quite a listing of names on the back here, several dozen vocalists and a handful of guitarists as well. So yeah, give this one a listen if you like. All right, let's shift gears to 45 really quick. I actually found this in Menominee Falls alongside the Tempest record that I got and showed earlier. I was shocked because I've never seen a backbeat label record at a Goodwill, and normally 45s are totally trashed for the most part because they're not in any sort of sleeve, but found this at the Menominee Falls Goodwill. This is Gene Elias, You Made Me Anybody's Woman, and I'll tell you what, this is a funky track. I wasn't familiar with this single specifically, but I know the backbeat label, and like I said, was shocked to see that in a Goodwill, so I knew I had to pick this up. This one's got a handful of scratches on here. It's definitely not in the best shape, but it plays through fine enough, which is good enough for me. I'm not super duper picky when it comes to, super mint records, especially when it comes to 45s. I'm not as picky about that. But you can find this on YouTube. I don't think it's on streaming anywhere, but this tune is incredible. I can't recommend it enough. I don't know a whole lot about Jean Elias herself, so if anybody has any information about her or some other records she put out, I'd be very interested. But yeah, definitely check this out. The B-side is How Long Can I Go On Fooling Myself, which is a fine song, but definitely this A-side is a must-hear for any sort of funk, soul, R&B collectors out there. All right, let's get into some CDs. I feel like this is where I tend to get luckiest at thrift stores, is in the CD section. I feel like I found more rare CDs than records or 45s or anything like that. So I'll start this off. I found this in Rockford, Illinois, Thrift Salvation Army there, originally my hometown. But I saw this cover and the spine. I'm not sure if you can see that, but the text was so interesting, and I knew this had to be something fun. So this is called Battle Array, self-titled. This is from 1997. It was recorded in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's just a bizarre CD. It's like a hard rock Christian record, but the drummer sounds like he wants to be in Metallica really badly, but the guitar is like the driest, just straight into a DI box signal, no effects, nothing I've ever heard. It's a very bizarre mixture. The singer has a very low voice. It's strange. I tried reaching out to, I emailed a guy who worked at the recording studio that's listed in the liner notes here, and I never got a response because I was really interested to learn more about this and the band, because it's just a bizarre CD. I did upload this to my YouTube channel as well a while back, so I'll put that in the description. The one song you have to hear is the very last track. It's called Catholic Drum Solo, and it's I can't even, I don't know how it came together, but it's the drummer, and he's absolutely wailing on the drums, and then interspersed between his drum solo, he will say different like Catholic phrases like go to confession or read the Bible. It is the most bizarre song I've ever heard, and I can't recommend it enough. It is so strange. So definitely not everybody's cup of tea. This is not one that I put on very frequently, but when I saw this cover and everything, I knew that this had to be one that I picked up. So definitely give it a listen. I've never seen another copy pop up anywhere. It seems like on Discogs they maybe show up from time to time, but I've never seen anybody else that owns this. So if you have any information about this CD, I'd be very interested to learn more because it's absolutely bizarre. Yeah, Battle Array, 1997. All right, going at another CD here. This is probably the rarest music I've ever found at a thrift store. I found this at the Brown Deer, Wisconsin Goodwill. And every now and then I've found really good hip hop CDs at this Goodwill. And I found this. I was not familiar with it when I found it, but something like this kind of stands out from the normal CDs you find at a Goodwill. So I knew it was probably something fun. This is by an artist called Young Twan. It's called Trump Tight. That's the name of the record. This was released in 1997, I believe, late 90s. This was a privately released CD. Young Twan is from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, which is a suburb of Milwaukee. This is incredibly hard to come by, so I was very surprised to find it. I mean, being in the area, I suppose it makes sense, but still, just based on what I've seen online, this is very difficult to come by. And this is actually signed by him on the back cover, and I've never seen another signed copy anywhere, so that's pretty remarkable. And on the back, I can't read the name. It says to somebody, thanks for the car, Young Twan 97. So this was personally signed to whoever got him a car for whatever reason, but definitely an interesting find, very hard to come by. Not my cup of tea. I am a hip hop fan, but I gave it a listen. It wasn't totally up my alley, but sometimes you gotta listen to something more than once to really appreciate it. So we'll definitely be playing this more and more. But yeah, very difficult to find Midwest hip hop, which is not a phrase that I feel like people often say, Midwest hip hop. But yeah, Young Twan, Trump Tight. All right, one last CD to look at. I don't even remember what Goodwill I found this out. It was somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. I don't remember where. But this is Iron Maiden, The Final Frontier, and not the actual album. This is a promo single that was sent out to radio stations, and actually the call letters, I don't know if you can read that on there, but the call letters for WSUM are on here, and that is the radio station for University of Wisconsin-Madison. So this was sent to that station at one point, but this is basically an advanced single of The Final Frontier when that album came out. I believe that was 2010, 2011, sometime around there. So it has track 2, it has 2 tracks. Track 2 is The Final Frontier, the song, and then track 1 is actually a director's cut video for The Final Frontier. So a really interesting sort of piece of Iron Maiden history. I'm a big Iron Maiden fan, so I found this. You don't find Iron Maiden at thrift stores too often, so definitely had to pick it up. It's hard to come by. But yeah, just kind of a cool find. Not the most exciting thing in the world, only being 2 tracks, one of them being a video. But yeah, definitely a neat little piece of history for one of the world's most prominent metal bands. All right, and wrapping things up with this video, I'm putting a couple cassettes in the same category because I found them at the same time and they're by the same artist. These are cassettes by Daniel Kane, who is a Chapman stick player. After I looked him up, he is a Chapman stick player out of San Francisco, the Bay Area. If you don't know what a Chapman stick is, it's this big thing he's playing there. It's kind of like a bass, but you tap it with 2 hands. Tony Levin from King Crimson and plays with Peter Gabriel. He kind of invented and is kind of the most well-known player of the Chapman stick. It's a really unique instrument. And these are like solo cassettes. I believe these are from the mid to late 80s. And it's just him playing the Chapman stick, just solo by himself, nothing else on the cassettes. And they're very peaceful and very beautiful, very relaxing music, surprisingly. But I guess you can kind of, from the titles, you can kind of tell that might be the sort of vibe that these are going for. We've got Forever Love / Forever Peace and Summer Nights in the City. So, these are very relaxing cassettes, and I believe these are, you can find these on YouTube and things like that. So he's a very talented musician. I believe he still plays in the San Francisco area. He's kind of a well-known guy down there. So if you've ever run into him or heard his music live, leave a comment. I'd be really interested to hear more about it. But yeah, definitely recommend checking these out if you want something to just kind of put on and relax to. So that'll wrap it up for this first video. I've got a few other ideas of videos I want to make. If there's anything you're interested in learning more about, let me know. Leave a comment. I'm looking for ideas to kind of get the YouTube video started. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.